Hello everybody, now you're here, you may as well hit this convenient and completely free, where's my finger, subscribe button. Welcome to another episode of Fatuously Manufactured Jingoism. Today we're going to figure out who's better at religion. In a global Gallup poll in 2009, the percentage of British people who said religion played an important part of their daily lives was 27%. But get this, it's 69% in the USA. Now the 69% didn't surprise me, because Americans are always droning on about magic nonsense. But the British 27% did. I was stunned it was so high. Who are these people? Because they certainly keep quiet about it. People just don't go to church anymore in the UK. According to Peter Brealey's definitive book, UK Church Statistics 2005 to 15, church membership was 11% of the population in 2010, a drop from 33% 100 years ago. The Church of England alone closed 1,500 churches between 1969 and 2002. You can see them all over the country. People buy them and convert them into private houses or apartments or art centres and stuff like that. It's really quite cool, I think. But what religion does have in Britain are these magnificent buildings. Look at that sucker. Now, I was a construction worker for 25 years and I have a huge interest in medieval history. So I find the craftsmanship spellbinding. Give me a sunny afternoon in a cathedral and I'm a pretty happy camper. This isn't a cathedral behind me, this is a St Andrew's church in Scarborough. It's quite a big one, but it was built in the late 19th century and mimicked the earlier medieval English Gothic style you saw with the church in Thornley Dale last week. I'll put a link right there. Actually, the style it copies is an early form of English Gothic from around the 13th century, with these pointed arches, buttresses, large windows and spires. Now you'll see the difference between this style and the pre-conquest style of the Edinburgh church I visited last week, the one with the Viking crosses mounted in the walls. I'll put another link right there. What the masons found when they started building these lighter, taller churches with much bigger windows is they were structurally weaker, obviously because the walls are thinner, and would collapse under their own weight, especially with vaulted roofs, which adds an angle to the downforce, which pushes the walls out. This is why you see most large churches and cathedrals from the Gothic onward with this heavy buttressing. This is a buttress over here. With this heavy buttressing, in order to prevent this bowing. You see that? These are buttresses, these bits that stick out. Now you'll see in cathedrals, these are much more pronounced, obviously, because cathedrals are a lot taller and heavier. And I don't know if you can see it behind me. There's another church about the same size right there, and it was built about the same time. This is St Martin's on the Hill. I think that one was finished like the year before this one was started. So church was very popular in the 19th century. So while religion in Britain has this unbelievably attractive infrastructure, nobody goes to church. Well, not to worship anyway. I think the vast majority of people who do go to pray are simply hedging their afterlife bets, completely unaware of the fallacy of Pascal's wager. Otherwise they'd also be praying at the shrines of every other religion to up the odds, wouldn't they? Because praying at just one church is a bit of a long shot. The big advantage of this lack of religious faith You don't have to have these huge meaningless conversations about religious morality or try to decipher cryptic biblical passages to determine what the actual message is. You just have your basic, straightforward secular morality, which isn't as confusing. The golden rule doesn't require hours of philosophical gymnastics to arrive at a moral course of action. It's not always cut and dried, of course, and there's always going to be ethical conundrums. But I don't think biblical rules help in these discussions. I think they muddy the waters even further because they add another element that's surplus to requirement. We don't need it. And it's a popular misconception that morality arose from religion, when religion actually co-opted it from existing tropes of social human behaviour and claimed to be the source. It's really quite childish. I think religion came about, or at least achieved such power, because it was a convenient way to control the masses and keep them working for the Lord. If the hierarchy is divine, everybody gets stuck in their class, does as they're told, and gets on with their work, because eternal damnation awaits the rebel. That's essentially how the British built the largest empire the world's ever seen. And that's why America is kind of a conundrum. They're very religious, but they also ascribe to the rugged individualism of the people, many of them British, who forged the country, which one would expect to conflict. And perhaps it does. Maybe we don't see it because the struggle is internal, or maybe it manifests in other ways. Maybe religion persists in such abundance in America because the Puritans were such dreary, miserable, stubborn bastards in the first place. Anyone lacking the goodwill to celebrate Christmas, they banned Christmas in Britain and America for over 20 years, and for over 100 years in New England. They didn't leave Britain to escape persecution, you understand. They left in order to persecute Native Americans and each other, because they were such shitty human beings. Incoming Quakers, for example, were often fined, whipped, imprisoned, banished, or executed. So who's better at religion? The UK by a country mile.
That is sensational.
Thanks for watching, folks. Don't forget to hit this completely free subscribe button for more thrilling instalments. And you can follow me on social media and Patreon from the links in the description below this video. See you all tomorrow.